Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another movie review. Tonight we've got an absolute corker. We're looking at Lucio Fulci's film Massacre Time. Now this is Lucio's venture into the spaghetti western genre, which, as you well know, is one of my favourite genres. I absolutely love westerns, especially spaghetti westerns. Now, if you're not sure what spaghetti westerns are, now these are western films made by Italian directors and companies in Italy. So that's hence why they got the name spaghetti western. The genre was a very gritty and violent version of the western film, and it took off in America too. And then they got their own sort of spaghetti western style films with Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef, and they produced their own sort of versions of the spaghetti western. But the original spaghetti westerns are from Italy, and this is one of them, one of the early ones. Excuse me. I believe it's about 1970, 1971. And it's a classic western sort of story. And it's sort of like it's a bizarre start to the film, because it's almost like it feels like there's going to be a fox hunt going on, which is really bizarre, but it's not. It's a human hunt. They've captured these local sort of crooks and villains have captured this guy, and they've set him loose, and they're chasing after him with dogs, just like a fox hunt. And eventually they catch up to him, and he gets his demise in the river when he's killed by the dogs. And then the film sort of starts into the main part of the film. We join a sort of prospectors on a riverbank, and they're all searching for gold. And trying to think of the actor's name. Franco Nero, that's it. And Franco Nero, who plays Tom in this film, is a part of it. And obviously Tom is a gunslinger. Anyway, he's doing this prospecting, looking for gold, and he's having his lunch break, and he finds a guy spying on him, and he sort of gets hold of him and sees what's going on, and he recognises the guy from this local sort of town, and he asks him what's going on, and the guy hands him over a note from one of the sort of like town people that knows Tom, asking him to come home quickly, return home. So he does. He gets on his horse and gallops off to his hometown. And there he's supposed to be meeting his brother and that there who's got this land that's been left to him by his father, and this sort of like big house. But when he arrives there, the land and the house has been taken over by a guy called Scott. Now this Scott guy, he's like the sort of like the villain leader, and all these atrocities taken place by his posse in the town. And he arrives to the house to find out that it's been taken over by this villainous Scott. And he meets some of his posse who tell him to go away, and so whenever you see this symbol, stay away from it, because it's owned by Scott and you're not welcome on his land. So he goes off and searches around the town, still looking for the family friend, and they can't get hold of him. And he meets like a Chinese guy who works as a blacksmith, and he gives him a little bit of information that he works for him as a blacksmith. And he's still not getting too far, and then he goes off to visit his brother and mother, and straight away they don't want him there. They told him to go away, because obviously there's something bad going down in this town, and they don't want him getting involved with it all. So they want him to get away. But he sort of refuses. He goes, I want to find out what's going on. And he sort of like still goes looking for the guy who sent him the note. And he goes into town again and has a look around, and all the sort of villains posse are all keeping an eye on him and stuff. And eventually he visits the saloon, and he goes in there, orders a drink, and some of the posse follow him in there and sort of like stand next to him at the bar, all this sort of thing. And then Tom's brother turns up at the bar drunk, demanding more tequila, and he's quite sort of boisterous and being very leery and drunk, and he's got the attraction of the posse. And some of them start over to him, and one of the sort of sub leaders of the posse, if you like, asking for a light, and he's got a cigar in his mouth. He goes, "I don't smoke." And anyway, so then they start fighting. The big fight breaks out in the bar, and it's his with Tom's brother and the posse of villains, and a big fight's out, and Tom's just ignoring it, just carrying on, just trying to have his drink, very sort of Clint Eastwoody. And he is very quite Clint Eastwoody, and he's wearing like his black cape, and he's got like his black cap on, and you know, he keeps his sort of head down like this. It's very sort of typical, but it's so cool. And eventually, when he sees his brother getting a good beating, he steps in, and he sort of beats up pretty much all of them. And one of the other leaders of the posse told him to stop, and they all go out. And so Tom then takes his brother sort of like home, and his brother tells him, "Just get out of town. Just get out of town." He goes, "Not until I've seen the guy that sent me the note." So eventually he goes out to the house where the guy is that sent him a note, and the guy's sitting there having his lunch with his family, and he wants to speak with him in private. So he goes outside with him to talk to him around the back of the house, and then we hear gunfire, and then another gunfire shot, and it shoots the guy who's giving him the note. So, but he whispers something to Tommy, and then Tommy checks on the guy that gave him that family, and they've all been shot dead. His two daughters and his wife. So what's going on? Is it all to do with this guy at the beginning on the sort of fox sort of human hunt at the beginning of the film? Who is he? Is he something to do with the story? Is this what he was trying to tell him in this note, and why he wants him to come there and help? Who is this Scott guy? He's obviously extremely villainous, and he's running the town into the ground, and he's owning everything. He owns the bank, he owns the saloon, he owns people's houses. People are trying to leave. There's one part of the film where a family are trying to leave because they can't earn any money, and he says, well, don't leave. The Scott guy goes, because you know you've always lived here all these years, and you've got family buried here. He goes, I haven't got any family buried here. So one of his posse just shoots his son, said, "You have now," and all this sort of thing. They're very horrible sort of people. So what's going to happen? Is our hero Tom going to save the day? What do I think of Massacre Time? It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. I love spaghetti westerns, and this is one of Lucio Fulci's best films by far. It's absolutely incredible. I do have some more of his spaghetti western films, because although he's very famous for doing horror movies like The Beyond and City of the Living Dead and Zombie Flesh Eaters and New York Ripper and all these amazing horror sort of exploitation films, he also directed spaghetti western films, and they're fantastic. Absolutely amazing. I love this genre so much. I really, really do. This film I've got here is from a set. Let me just grab it, guys. It's from one of my sets that I've got. I've got 3 of these different sets of called. This one's called Vengeance Trials, and they've all got different names, and they've all got different sort of spaghetti westerns in them. I might actually do a video and show you all the films that are in the box set, and I will be doing a top 10 of my favourite spaghetti westerns very soon too. I haven't not done it yet because these films, I've not watched all the films in these sets yet, and pretty much all of them are from these sets. There is a few more from my other films that will be in the top 10, but quite a few of them are going to be from here. So I want to make sure I've got the right films in there first before I approach you with my top 10 spaghetti westerns, because it's important to me. It's one of my favorite subgenre films. Yes, I love my horror films, but I love westerns. I just do. Just really love them. Now, the pluses of this edition, it looks stunning. As you may see by some of the clips that I've put up, it looks so cool. For the age of the film, I'm sure it's 1971. I'm not sure. Someone's bound to correct me down in the comments. But unfortunately, they haven't put it on the box, which is a bit annoying. I wish they would put the dates on these boxes of the films, because it would help me out a lot. Because I'm not one of these people that are going to go do all these research on films. No, because I don't want to do that. Because when I do my reviews, these are my views of the film, not researched information or reviews. This is what I see, and this is what my interpretation of the story is. That's what you get from me. You're not going to get anything else. I'm not going to go along with other people's reviews or anything else. You're going to get what I've seen and what I think it's about and what I feel about it. And I think this is wonderful. Yeah, it's really well acted. Fantastic. You get the English and Italian versions of the film on there. So whichever one you deserve to watch. I love to watch the English version because I like to watch the dubbing and stuff like that. Okay, it's just cool, and it just adds another dimension to the film for me. It's very gritty. It's quite violent. There's a little bit of gore in it, but not much, because westerns are not renowned for their gore, but they are known for their violence, and this is no exception. There is lots of brawling in the saloon. There is gunfights. There is shootouts. There's chases. It's everything that you want in a western, or in this Massacre time. I'm going to score this film an amazing watch and give it a 9 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic film. Really cool. Lucio Fulci's Massacre Time, 9 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below. You may not have seen it because he's, as I say, he's known for his horror films, and you're bound to have seen some of his if you're into your Italian horror films or Italian sort of zombie films. He did the trilogy, didn't he? The Beyond, City of the Living Dead, and House by the Cemetery. He's done all these wonderful films. But he, like I said to you before, he's done westerns. So maybe it's time you start checking them out, because they're amazing. Thanks for watching, guys. I will try and do some more western reviews in a few coming weeks, but I will be maybe doing a video showing you my 3 box sets that I have of this collection, and I will be doing the top 10 spaghetti western, if that is of interest to you. If you're a horror fan, it's time to open your eyes and become a fan of spaghetti westerns as well, because there's a lot of similarities in between the two sort of genres. They do have some sort of ultra-violent scenes, so if your horror films will have them. These are pretty much, most spaghetti westerns are revenge films. A lot of horror films are revenge films. There's a lot of similarities between them. So if you like them, give them a try. See you soon, guys. Oh, massive shout out to the lad. Hope you're doing well, mate.